Hello, everyone, and welcome. We've got a heater episode of the Super Mega Riftbound Podcast coming your way this time. It's episode 21. We are graduated, and we are ready to go on some Riftbound Unleashed content. Let's get to it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 21. Cheers to 21. We have finally gotten here. We do have, as we said last week, we all have our alcohol. We're going to take our shots here in a second, but first we're going to start. Oh, you guys, okay, let's just do it. Everyone ready? Eli went for it. You guys are listening on Spotify. Eli started the drink, and then I said no. Everyone ready? Okay. Fire me up a little bit. Oh, that is strong tequila.
Ooh, yeah.
Ready to talk about some
really
Riftbound.
Nice.
Let's
I
go.
haven't taken this out and drank it. I got like a salted caramel whiskey.
Ooh, very fun, very fun.
I described the only open bottle of alcohol in my house. That's a bad idea.
Ooh,
All right. Last week in Riftbound is going to be our first thing we do this week. As always, we've got a lot of things to talk about this week in Riftbound because I think all of us went to quite a few pre-riffs this last week that popped themselves up. We'll start with you, Teddy, and let's just work our way across the line. How's your last week?
It was good. It started off with that midnight release that we were all at. I did go 0-3 in that one. I had just a terrible deck. That was probably my worst pre-riff so far. I talked about it in.
Is it that bad for you?
No, that was just a cough. That wasn't nothing to do with the alcohol.
Okay. No, understood. Continue your last week.
If you guys go and watch Chai's, I think we all made an appearance in Chai TCG's latest YouTube video.
Yep.
So if you go watch that, you can kind of see more of our in-depth breakdowns of that midnight event. But then I also got to run a few this past weekend and playing a few. We actually, me and Eli played one yesterday as well. And we all have one, I guess, tonight of recording, which is Thursday. We have a 2v2 pre-rift, which should be really fun. Me and Eli are playing together, and Gail, you're playing with your wife, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll be bringing my wife.
I'm really excited for that. We get to pool our two pre-rift kits for 2 decks, which should be really nice. Eli and I are shooting for Ivern. We think that's just going to be the stuff.
I think it's going to be a good duo legend specifically because you can just give all your cats and dogs and poros and birds over to the other side. Yeah. Let them play a juiced out Ivern deck, and then the rest of your stuff goes the other way.
I wish XP was shared.
Oh, I know.
That would be so
XP
nice.
being shared would be really cool for sure.
Are we using the rules that you can't have the same legend? Because you can't have 2 Iverns.
No, that's what I'm saying. You just shove all Ivern stuff into one deck. And
I see.
Yeah,
and then just play good legend and the other side.
And then play good legend on the other side, or just
understood.
Understood.
But yeah, I think my best pull from the past week was an Overnumber Lonely Poro. I saw this thing a few weeks ago about this Pokemon collector who put a glass frame around like his high expensive cards, and I think I want to do that with the Overnumber Poros and get all 6 into a frame with the connecting art, and then put it on my wall. So that's my goal.
And here I was going to try to get it from Teddy. Unfortunate for me, I also want the 6 Poros. Gail, how was your last week of pre-riffs?
My last week of pre-riffs were pretty nice. I did 2, I believe. In one, I ended up pulling Diana, and I ended up playing a completely different deck than Diana, I believe, just because that was what I pulled. But the more fun one was, I did 3. But the most fun one I did was I ended up getting like a super cool LeBlanc deck out of my pool.
Very cool.
I had LeBlanc and I had Otacon. So I also had the yellow LeBlanc in the CC. Dude, it was nutty. I had a lot of red stuff.
Did you have a Rex?
Yeah, I had tons of red. I had Rexes. And I had like the Vault Breaker. I was in red, so I had the ability to give everything ganking going across. It was a sick deck.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
Past that, I've been really prepping for PopCon, the NRG event. I just got like a draft masterclass by one of my buddies, Houses Are Big, who is a really strong Magic player. He does a lot of limited and Magic, and he helped me to figure out how to do a draft a lot better. So I'm really excited for that, because if you don't know, the sealed event's going to be draft for top 8.
Yep.
They threw that curveball and I went draft.
Which is super cool. I think that formatting is very awesome, where you go sealed up until the top 8 and then it's a top 8 draft.
I agree. Sick. I think it'll be super fun. I'm super excited for it.
Yeah.
Definitely jazz for everyone who gets to go to that for sure.
Yeah.
Specifically, you talked about Magic drafting as well.
Uh-huh.
So limited in this game, I think, is taking a huge step forward this set, and I'm hoping that it continues on that way forward.
For sure.
Because I would love to play a bunch of limited Riftbound and draft Riftbound and do all that stuff, because that's my favorite part of Magic. I don't really like the actual game-to-game of Magic, but I love limited formats.
I think Limited Unleashed is probably the best limited format that we've had. I think Origins is really strong too, but I think Origins can be a bit boring. And I think in Unleashed, you're able to make actually decks with identity.
Yeah.
And that's something that you didn't have in Origins generally.
Yeah.
I do think we still need to be printing a little bit more removal though. It is
100%,
just a little bit.
I had a opponent round one at a pre-release I went to last night, where they had just started playing the game. Their first event, they were sitting down for the pre-rift, and they thought that it had to be 40 cards still.
That's funny.
And we're playing Jin, and had 40 cards in their deck, and I won that game, I think, in like less than 6 minutes. It was just an insanely fast win, but it was their first game ever, and so I was trying to coach them along the way.
Yeah,
we got the deck down to 25 cards, and his deck actually, with the 25 card decrease, was a Jin Legend deck. You could play the Jin Legend, and it was actually good in the deck.
Okay.
It was wild. It was absolutely wild. He had 2 red Jins. He had Blighted Battle Axe.
There you go. That's a good start to any deck.
Super good combo by itself.
You know what's funny? Hold on. I'm going to interject it here. I pulled that in my deck last night, and I didn't play it.
Crazy.
I had better blue cards.
I don't know. But he had 2 Sprite Burst. He had 2 Deadly Flourish.
Yeah.
And it was an actual Jin deck. It was so cool. So I just love the fact that even with these kind of underplayed legends, if you pull the right pool, you really can still play it. It's nice.
Especially I think with when we start getting to be able to draft this game more, is you're going to be able to build around Jin is, I think, not a bad draft legend. If you're obviously not gonna, if you open your first pack, you're not gonna take the legend. But if you get it late and you've been drafting some high spells, I think that's when draft really shines, is when you can build around these legends that aren't great in sealed, but can be good if you draft the right cards for it.
Yeah, that's going to be the case for sure, especially the less contested drafts, right? Because no one's going to be drafting toward Jin, so then it becomes less contested, which means you're going to get the majority of cards for it as the draft goes around. That's just limited fundamentals, and it's very strong.
Yeah,
it's very strong. But
how was your weekend?
Yeah, limited sidebar aside, I had a great week. Okay, let me front with you guys real quick. I'm not going to sugarcoat this at all, okay? I've opened 14 Unleashed pre-release kits. 14 pre-release kits. I have pulled 1 overnumbered card out of 14 pre-release kits. And not only have I pulled 1 overnumbered card, I've pulled 3 Gutter Palaces.
I pulled 4.
Okay, Teddy, that's even more crazy. But I pulled 3 Gutter Palaces. I pulled multiple alt art poppies, and I just the worst human pulls imaginable out of these pre-release kits. My wallet is hurting. My soul is hurting. My identity is hurting. I didn't even pull a single Unending Spirit, which is the card I needed for Ivern. I had to trade for 3 of this uncommon. I've opened 14 kits. All right, sidebar aside. It's a great format. It's a lot of fun to play. But man, does it suck when the person next to you is opening an Ultimate Baron Nashor and you're like, wow, this Poppy looks really good, bro. Look at this card. Looks phenomenal. But no, that's my rant for this episode. The pull rates on these pre-release kits, we need to look at them right.
The side-eye that Eli gave me last night when I'm sitting across from him and I pulled the Lonely Poro overnumber, and he just was not happy whatsoever. And he puts down his Poppy altar. I'm like, sick. What's this in my head? What's this in my pack?
I go to trade the Poppy. Someone's like, oh, I'd love to play Poppy. It's $16. And they're like, that's too steep for my blood. I can't pay that on a Poppy. And I was like, I get it, dude. I understand. I can't even recur my pre-release kit value. It's crazy.
Funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's 70 packs, by the way. 70 packs. Well, that's 3 boxes.
That's 3 boxes.
1 overnumber in 3 boxes is the average.
Okay, so that means that tonight, when I go over the 70 packs, because I'm opening another pre-release kit for the dugout, then I have to pull another.
You know what's going to happen? I was thinking about
that. 3 boxes.
I was thinking about this. Is Eli and I are going to open 3 packs. We're going to make a good deck. We're going to go 3-0. I'm gonna open my prize packs, and there's gonna be an over number, and Eli's not. That's what I was thinking before this. I don't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it out loud now.
No, it could
Well,
happen.
watch. He's gonna open the ultimate berry. Just watch.
Don't you have 5 packs? Isn't it 10 total packs to make 2 decks?
Well, I'm talking about
10 total
10
packs,
packs, yes.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like the winning packs. Right? I believe it's
Oh,
like
sure.
a pack per win.
You assume you're winning. Oh, got it. Understood.
Yeah.
I didn't
Very
assume
true.
you guys were
I'm
winning.
confident.
Yeah. I actually I've had a pretty like subpar decks both times that I've won the event, and I had a really good deck last night, and I went 2-1, and I didn't win in the last round.
One
So
of the guys at
I don't
last
know.
night had
I don't know what's going on. I do know what's going on.
Yes.
I got a freaking Vial dropped on my face as Ivern.
That'll
And
do
that was
it.
impossible.
That'll do it.
It just completely demolished me.
That'll do it.
The reason I didn't go through yesterday was I was going into Diana, and I'm like, okay, it's Diana. Like, it's a good deck. You'll be able to fund your spells. He's got like 3 cards in his hand, and I think it was 6 runes up. So I have a Frisky Hunter on one battlefield, and then I just played a Sprite burst, and he has just a Mauser on the other battlefield. But I know that Mauser can get big because he's in Diana, he can do some weird shenanigans with damage. So I send 2 sprites and some 1 or 2 might unit in to just make sure I can clear it. And the only way I win the game is if I do that because we're late in the game. First off, he Moonfalls brings my Frisky Hunter over. Now we're tied. I'm like, okay, cool. It's a trade. I can just play something else into my base and have a unit for next turn. He then eclipses my Frisky Hunter, and I lose. Moonfall into Frisky Hunter, not Moonfall into. I can't think. Yeah,
That's pretty good. I'm going to do you one better. I had a play yesterday. This is actually a positive play for me, where my opponent was playing purple, and they had attempted to play an Existential Dread earlier in the game, not realizing that I had to be an attacker for them to play Existential Dread. And so I move in with my Frisky Hunter to a battlefield that has 6 might on it, 3 and 3. It's a Diana and something else. And I say, okay, I will pass priority. And he Existential Dreads the Frisky Hunter back to my hand. And I said, all right, in reaction to the Existential Dread, I'm going to drop Inferna to go ahead and try to trade with the Diana. Yep. And he goes, I don't really want that to happen. I'm going to Existential Dread the Inferna. And I said, dang. All right, I'm going to Grim Apothecary the Inferna back to my hand and then replay the Inferna and trade with your full battlefield. It was wild. That's completely funny. Game winning on the spot. It was nuts.
That's hilarious.
That's funny.
Pre-Rift is fun like that, and just sealed in general, because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's super, super fun. But hey, we got a lot to talk about today. Let's get past this segment here and go on to our next one. And it is going to be the talk of the town this week. Everybody's talking about this one. You logged on to x.com. You've seen people complaining everywhere, making sure that other people aren't complaining everywhere. It's Aurora time. We're going to talk about Aurora. There's a couple of points here that a lot of people are making that I think are both positive and negative points for it. So we're going to do a bit of a just kind of like roundtable discussion on all of our thoughts on Aurora and what we think the best solution for Riot is going forward.
A roundtable discussion in a podcast? No way.
That's crazy. What a concept. Just for that joke, Teddy, you get to go first. What are your thoughts on Aurora in the current texture of going into this set 3? And the discourse this week has been on, is Aurora a skillful deck, or is it a deck that takes very little skill to pilot appropriately? Please take the floor.
Well, I think, I come at Aurora as someone who has played Victor and has a pretty good matchup into Aurora. If you I haven't been talking, and he just kind of he kind of coached me into the fact that like you just double conquer early in the game. You can kind of go fast and try to go over it, but. So I have like a weird perspective on this whole situation. I'm like, oh, like it's obviously like Elder Dragon is a nuts card. All of these cards are nuts. Like they're very hard to deal with when they can get it off. And I think concerning the fact that is Aurora a hard deck, I think when you have like I often go to like red, purple, and Lorcana. If Eli knows what I'm talking about, Gale probably don't. But I feel like
not anyway.
Yeah. It was a deck that if you got what you needed, it worked. And if it didn't get what you needed, it's usually wouldn't work. But it still had its ways to come back. And I think that's kind of how I look at Aurora in a little bit. a little bit is if the fact that like it can, if you go turn, if you get it like out Aurora turn 3, I believe is the earliest you can get it out. I haven't played Aurora at all, so I also don't have a good understanding of it.
Catalyst.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you can do that, drop a Mind Splitter or whatever you want to play. Baron Nashor, Elder Dragon. I assume purple orange is probably the best Aurora deck in my opinion. I think MF Aurora is probably the best. And if you're able to drop even Dead Bloom, like people, there's also discourse going on. Should you play Dead Bloom or not? But that's for a different time. I think Aurora can be oppressive if they go quick, but if they don't go quick and they aren't able to get Aurora out, or it gets taken by an Ash, or it gets even removed after it gets one trigger, even if it gets one trigger, it can win the game. But if it gets removed by like a Turn to Dust or a Salvage, I think it can be a hard deck when it's not working right. When you have to determine, like something I saw is, when do you abandon the Aurora plan? When do you abandon the fact that, okay, you're saving up for this? When do you try to save your runes so you can play an Elder Dragon when you have all of your runes? When do you save your runes to be able to play these big might units and kind of just abandon the Aurora plan? I think that's the biggest thing in knowing is, when do you make that decision to turn? And I think that's the only, like, just as someone who doesn't have much experience with the deck, that's my initial thing is like, it's hard to know when to make that decision, but the deck also can pilot itself like that all the time. So that's my take.
Gail, what about you? How do you feel about Aurora going into set 3?
Aurora is a very warping deck just in general. If Aurora's ever strong, that means that every deck has to be built to beat it no matter what. And generally, the way you beat Aurora is not through patterns, it's not through play, it's through cards in your deck. And that's, to me, the worst part about it. We are not beating Aurora by playing the game better than them. We are beating Aurora by putting the cards in our deck that beat Aurora in a high enough number that we see them.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the gameplay. When we test with Aurora, most of it's like, okay, I got Sabo, you didn't have 2 Auroras, you lose now. I found my Ash before you found your Aurora, whatever. And that's the gameplay. And that's not really exciting. That's not interesting. Once Aurora has hit the table, does the game get more interesting then, though? Let's think. No. Not remotely. The Elder Dragon has hit the table, and now it's like, okay, I have 3 problems you have to deal with immediately. I have to deal with the ETB, the when you play me trigger. I have to deal with the body, and I have to deal with Aurora. If you can't do 2 of those in one turn cycle, you will lose the game no matter what. And that's not fun either, because this is, again, just another card check. We have a card check to make sure the Aurora doesn't go down, and now we have a card check to make sure we can do the rest of this. And again, patterns don't matter here because it's also board wiping. Sure, you can have all your guys in one location. That's a fine pattern. That's cool. That is what it is. When we talk about the skill level to play Aurora, a lot of people talk past each other with this. There's a lot of people talking about ceiling. There's a lot of people talking about floor, and they argue with each other that it's not skillful or it is skillful without like defining their terms.
Yeah.
Aurora is a very easy deck to pick up and play. Very easy. You pick it up, you play Kata, you play Aurora, you did it. Proud of you. The ceiling for the deck, it's very interesting. I think the Aurora Mirror is actually incredibly skill intensive. Figuring out when you actually want to play the Aurora in relation to theirs, how you're going to be maneuvering your hand rips versus theirs. It is very skillful in that regard.
I will also, real quick, just to interject on that point, Gail, not to take the floor, but I think that
the ceiling.
Or the ceiling. But I think that the permutations of which Aurora deck that, like, it's still a mirror, right? We're both playing Aurora decks.
Yes.
But I'm playing Poppy and you're playing MF.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? Like, that changes that dynamic a lot. And that is very skill intensive to me. So
and even in like an MF versus MF, like my solution to mirror is Heedless Resurrection. Their solution to mirror is MF Buccaneer and Ride the Wind. And that's a very different matchup already, right? Like we're already playing a completely different game together than other mirrors. So I think it is interesting in that regard, but it doesn't get too much. I think Aurora is too strong right now for how easy it is to pick up. And I think it washes too many decks to be healthy. That is the end result of that.
I also have one more point before you talk either. I think something, I don't know where it was, I just saw this, but like the thing with Aurora is also most orange decks now are good because Aurora is good. Poppy was never supposed to be this amazing deck out of the gate, but you add Aurora into it and you add that shell, and it's the same thing with Miracle. Like I believe in Leo, the best, or might have been, or whatever, I don't know if it was Leo or I think it was Bologna, the best of Teemo, one, because it had the miracle package in it and just played the good cards. Like, obviously, yes, props to them for doing what they probably should have done in that in regard. But it's
Fellow
also
podcaster, by the way.
Oh, I know who it is. Yeah, I know I did Lorcana stuff with him as well. So great guy.
Oh, great.
I love Joe. But he did what he needed to do, and I think that's what these orange decks are also going to do. And is a little. Do I think it's a little toxic for the game? Yes. And so that's my only thing. Is another thing is like all these orange decks are just going to play Aurora because it's Aurora and it's good and like it can win. Poppy was never supposed to be a good deck. When we saw it right off the bat, we're like, oh, this isn't good. And then we saw the full set and we saw it can be applied to Aurora, and it's like, okay, Poppy's going to probably be shown because it's Aurora.
I really like the Prismaticism tweet that he put out. I think it was either late yesterday or today, where he named the amount of orange legends in the format and said,
that's where I saw it. Yeah.
Aurora in these decks say to try to win a best of, and suddenly Aurora is 25% of the pool at an event, which is just.
And he was giving a generous number of 8%.
I know, and
MF.
so that is just a terrifying concept to me.
Mhm.
So I've talked about many times on the podcast before how I dislike playing against Aurora. I think it is my least favorite matchup in the entirety of the game. The large reason that I played Victor in set 1 was because Victor had such a strong Aurora matchup. That was the driving force to lead me to want to play Victor. Was that matchup was pretty 70-30 in my favor. And what Gale was saying rings entirely true to that point, right? It was 70-30 in my favor as Victor because I had deck built specifically to beat Aurora.
Mhm.
That is why I had as strong of a matchup as I did into the deck. And so for me, I loved seeing Aurora set 1. But every time I saw it, I still hated playing against it. Like, it rubs me the wrong way. I don't like how it feels because it feels like you're like, okay, say you're in a group project in school, right?
Oh, no.
High school, take it all the way back to Mr. Armstrong's English class. You're in a group lit project, okay? You have 3 members of the group that are pulling their weight. They are like doing every single assignment that's needed for it. They're doing the reading. They're sending you annotated sections of the reading so like you could catch up to speed with where they are. And then there's that one kid in the corner of the group project that is just doing something entirely different all by themselves. And you have to give them like a menial task that you know they're not even going to do because you have to like have them included or your grade is going to suffer for it.
Mhm.
Aurora is that kid in the corner who every single time that Aurora is in a meta, it contributes nothing to the game. The only thing that it contributes to the game is the fact that everybody else has to look and laugh at it and then put cards in their deck to beat it, just like Gale said. I'm going to calm it back down here just a little bit. There is no reason for Aurora to be in a healthy meta for a game. I think that Aurora by itself is design space that should not have been explored at the level that it has been explored. If they were going to print Aurora and they didn't give us these super expensive cards until like say the end of the block that did like super, super crazy things in the color combinations that Aurora can play in, then I'm fine with Aurora. If Mind Splitter is the worst thing that comes off of Aurora, Dead Bloom Mind Splitter, I'm like, okay, that's still scary.
Fine.
But it's fine. It's not really that much of an issue.
Elder Dragon.
Yeah. Baron Asher.
They have to, and to be fair to Aurora, right, they have to contribute their own deck space to play those cards. And Ali Eldrazi made this point that I brought up in our group chat leading up to this episode, that sometimes when you are putting these cards in your deck, you're reducing the card quality in your deck, which is then giving you lower percentage to then play into the field, which is true. That is a true statement. However, sometimes a card is powerful enough that you can take that percentage chance and it just doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, because what you are doing is so powerful and so warping that it is going to impact the game or the meta in such a way that is not healthy. And I think that is the section that we're at with Aurora. I was pro banning Aurora in this last ban wave. I was pretty surprised that they did not do that. Because we had cards like Elder Dragon getting introduced to the game. I think that people that are saying Aurora has no skill are insane. They just are crazy. It absolutely does have skill, especially in some matchups where you have to navigate. A lot of the skill is also in the deck composition and building your deck appropriately when you are playing Aurora, which is just a different kind of player skill than actual mechanical skill in game. It's essentially like, for those League of Legends players in our audience, right? It's micro versus macro. Whatever your skill is, you can have skill in both, but you're probably going to be better at one than the other. And Aurora just kind of shows off the better deck building than it does the actual better gameplay, which is fine. Stuff like that is fine to be in the game. However, I think they took it to a level that it did not need to be with this card and with this deck archetype. And we're currently seeing the results of that. I don't want to sit down at my Nexus night and play against an Aurora 2 times in a row. Like, that sounds like an awful experience, just like Draven was, because my agency in the game doesn't exist. All that it took was my deck building choices and me seeing those deck building choices. I don't have any agency. So I definitely agree with you, Gail, on that point specifically. I was going to bring that up as well.
Yeah.
It's
about play feel. It's not even about strength. Right. It's just play feel. And if your decisions matter, mattering is the most important thing for a card game.
Yeah, it was the same thing against Miracle that I felt, right? Like, my decisions against Miracle mattered so little when I was playing a deck that was not on the level of where Miracle was, which was very, very few decks. It just mattered way less, and I feel that exact same way against Aurora. So I personally am pro banning Aurora, but I think that the people that are saying that Aurora is a no skill deck are just incorrect. They're not looking at it as an entirety of a TCG concept. They're looking at it as specific micro gameplay rather than the macro deck building elements that went into constructing the deck to perform well. There's a reason that the same people do well on Aurora every time that are playing Aurora. Mo, Ali Eldrazi, like those names of people do well on the deck regardless of what is going on, and that's because of their strong deck building and their strong micro gameplay in those matchups where it matters with Aurora.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, Aurora, I think it'll be banned. That's just my prediction. It'll come at some point. I am interested to see if they'll do it before Vancouver. I think that's kind of the question I want to pose to you guys. I don't think they'll do it.
They can't.
They can't. Like, they have to let it happen once. And going off, I just went back and looked at the Prismat tweet that you were talking about, Eli, and it was 10 out of the 14 orange decks that can comfortably play Aurora as their best archetype. If you do that and then add all of their percentages up in the past tournaments, about a 25% spread with Aurora. If every single orange deck at a tournament is playing Aurora, it's 25%. That's like a fourth of the room, which is kind of insane when you really think about it. Like, if you think of every 4 matchups you have to play Aurora, that's just
that's also assuming just 1%. Right.
That's assuming 8% Sivir, 8% MF, 1% the rest.
Correct.
So it's give or take. Take that with obviously those numbers with a grain of salt, but still, the fact that you might have to play Aurora that much just doesn't feel fun. It doesn't feel great. Like you said, Eli, you don't want to sit down at Nexus nights and play. I don't want to play Aurora once, even though my deck is it's like we were talking. It's built to beat Aurora. I don't I want to be. I'm playing Victor. That's the deck I'm probably going to be playing until it rotates. But Diana seems really fun to me. I was playing it at pre-Rift, and it seems really fun. I want to build it. But that just doesn't feel like a deck that can just beat Aurora. It's not a deck that can beat Aurora. And I don't want to, have to make that decision to be okay, I'm going to play this deck because I like it. But if I see Aurora, maybe I just lose here. It's a strong deck, but again, in Aurora, it just doesn't. I don't know. I could complain about it too. I think it'll be banned, not after Vancouver. Hopefully before Hartford, though.
We'll see. I actually am not convinced they're going to ban it. I think if they were going to ban it, they're going to ban it on the last ban list. So I don't see that happening. The only argument,
I think they wanted to see with Elder. They had to see with Elder because Elder is the Aurora card. They can't preemptively ban it before it gets to this point.
So that is my actual thought. Yeah. Is the reason that it was. I said this I think a couple weeks ago. The reason it wasn't on the ban list was because they wanted to sell Unleashed, right? And one of the big selling points of Unleashed was Baron and Elder. Baron and Elder are both prime cards to be able to drop off of Aurora, power fantasy wise, right? You want to drop the Baron Nash or you want to drop the Elder Dragon, and Aurora enables both of those cards to come out faster and easier. And so selling Unleashed, not banning Aurora, makes sense. However, in my mind, if they then go and ban it, it comes off just as bad as not banning it in the first place. You know what I mean? Because if they ban it immediately afterward, it's like, oh yeah, we were just selling you guys this stuff, and then that's gonna be the precedent that's set going forward, right? So I think we're probably gonna have it until the end of the Unleashed format would be my bet. And then something is going to happen, but I don't know if it's going to be a direct Aurora hit. I think they might hit Catalyst of Aeons, would be my thought on their potential ban. But we'll see if that comes to fruition or not. It's a bold prediction, but
yeah, that seems bizarre. There's no way. I mean, Catalyst is one of those color identity things, right? Where if Orange wants to be the big guy deck, it's going to need Ramp, and Ramp has always been like this identity of Orange. Ramp is a deck archetype that you need in card games. People love having more runes than their opponent. That's just a base, and that is what it seems like Body's specialty is supposed to be. So I don't think we can hit Catalyst, because that would just ruin people's fantasy.
I'm gonna counter this point by Hearthstone had a couple cards exactly like Catalyst of Aeons that they had to nerf.
And they loved
in the history of the game,
and the players
because they were too powerful with
And
how the game functioned. And this game does function pretty similarly to Hearthstone outside of the interaction side of the game. So it's definitely, and they can't nerf it, right? Like they can't just errata nerf it like Hearthstone can.
They could.
What do you mean they errata everything?
Yeah, but they don't errata for gameplay. They don't errata for
I know.
gameplay reasons. They just errata for clarification purposes.
That all happened to also be gameplay reasons.
That sometimes also happen to be gameplay reasons that just, nicely coincide with some rules text reminder.
Yeah.
So funny.
I think Aurora will have its time in the sun here. I think people who underplay Aurora's position in the meta, I think they just need to play against it more and realize that it is a very strong deck, and realize that you are putting a deck building tax on all your decks now. But I think that's about where the Aurora conversation can go. And any final thoughts for Aurora quickly?
Yeah. Quick last final thought. My God, I don't know what to do. All of my aggro decks beat Aurora and lose to everything else, and all of my other decks lose to Aurora and beat only some of the other decks. So I'm at a loss for what to do. It makes it such a hard rock, paper, scissors type. Like, I just don't know what to do. I'm at a loss. Comment down below if you have a deck that I should play, because I'm thinking Ezreal or Diana right now, but I have no idea. I'm totally lost.
LeBlanc?
Yeah.
LeBlanc she can play into Aurora.
LeBlanc could be good.
And she can play into
and she can play in other. She's very good against a lot of other decks, but playing into Aurora is like, I just want to have a guaranteed win in that matchup. You know what I mean? Like I want the double conquer. It's not bad, especially on the Windswept Hillock game. The Windswept Hillock game is good for you.
The secret with LeBlanc is you go over and not under.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting. LeBlanc versus Aurora is a pretty interesting matchup.
Mirror imaging their Elder Dragon is like actual crack. It is actual crack.
She becomes a combo deck where you just find your cards that clear their board so you can win the game. So it's an interesting matchup.
I actually saw some, I don't remember who it was, but someone was on 2 Bellows Breath and LeBlanc specifically for the Aurora matchup so that they can mirror image the Elder Dragon and then Bellows them. I was like, that's some crazy tech for it. That's pretty nuts. But yeah, Gail said it. We got to move on from the Aurora topic on to our next segment here on the podcast today. It's going to be custom cards. Gail, take it away.
We're bringing back custom cards. We never really got rid of it, but with Unleashed coming out, we didn't want to confuse people with what are real and what are fake. So this will be the first custom card in a while.
Yeah.
This is a custom card from Kinuhara. I'm hoping I said this correctly.
That was a pretty good try.
That's Kindred,
much better than what I
who we have as a Mind Chaos Legend. This is Kindred, the Eternal Hunters. Activated ability, Exhaust the Legend. Give an enemy unit at a battlefield marked. When you or units you control kill a marked unit, you gain 3 XP. So this will be an XP-based deck in blue and purple, which is interesting. At level 12, your spells or abilities may target units in any location. So we're getting rid of any targeting restrictions for your spells and abilities, which is very powerful.
Yeah, that's very
but
cool.
very late.
Yeah,
12 experience is a lot of experience. We're going to have some pretty strong support cards to get us that. Marking giving 3 experience when you kill something is good. That is very good.
The marked keyword is actually, I like that a lot. That is like, it's very fun.
It's very thematic to Kindred as well. I know you don't know this, Teddy, but in the game, Kindred will mark specific champions or jungle objectives, and when she consumes those marks, she gets extra power into her kit.
Okay.
Yep.
And so it's very thematic to Kindred as well. But speaking of Kindred's theme, the thing I actually don't like about this card is not anything that's written on it. I think all that is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't like that it's Mind Chaos. I don't think that domain fits Kindred's identity very well. I think that Calm Chaos actually would be the best pairing for this because you're playing the lamb, you're playing the wolf off of each other, the wolf being chaos, the lamb being calm. So that's my only critique on the design of this so far.
I've always seen Kindred more in like opposing domain colors, where either she's Order Chaos or she's Fury Calm. I like Fury Calm a lot, but I think that I think the colors actually make it uglier if you do that way. Like, I think there's some aesthetic choices you have to make for sometimes the colors. And I think that's what this person was going for.
Oh, definitely.
Like,
with the blue
Mind
and the
Chaos
bow and Kindred.
aesthetically looks really good with it, which is what takes me away from like Calm Fury, because that aesthetically clashes so bad that I think it'd have to be like Chaos Order. And I think that can make it look really good where the yellow is like the white and the chaos.
I could see that too. I could see that too for sure. And it already has some built-in XP support from this set as well.
Right, exactly.
So it gives it a little bit more.
And I think obviously after we talk about like the champs and the signature spell, but especially like with XP, we have to see more come out and like even before like we talk about this, like this is something we have to see. Like what are the rest of the cast with this XP? What are we gonna get that would help boost this XP to get to level 12? Because obviously you have marked and you have the ability to kill things, but do we gonna get a gear that like is on the battlefield and says, or on the field and says, when you kill a unit, gain 1 XP or something like that? That's like something like that. So stuff like that, I think, is something we have to also consider. Is like, what is the supporting cast going to be? What is the ensemble going to be with a card like this?
And the next question in here is like, how can we best abuse the level 12 ability?
Yeah.
So we have to get to level 12 with our cards, and then find cards that get very strong with that. So the cards that we were putting in the deck have to be sort of dual.
Yeah, the ones that come to mind that currently exist is stuff like Gust. Gust would be incredibly strong if we could hit backline. Gust would be super strong. Rebuke would
kill
better.
Notably.
Yeah, the problem in this color combination is that really nothing kills, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just Singularity
Crescent
and
Strike?
Bellows actually
Bellows
looks
Breath.
really interesting here because you don't have to do the split targeting thing. Like you don't have to do the group targeting. You can just ping whatever you want in any regard.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's pretty cool.
But for that to apply, they have to have units in all 3 locations the majority of the time. Or you're so behind that they have units super stacked on 2 locations, which is kind of awkward. Because then we're probably not winning that game anyway. But I like the order shout because I think that this ability gets really interesting with some of the order removal cards.
Hidden Blade base.
Yeah, right. Stuff like that. It could be super interesting. But I'm interested to see where this goes. We got some legends coming up,
champion.
Right? Art champions, yeah.
Yep. This poster made them both epic just because I think they like the full art. I think this poster was very interested in the aesthetics a lot. But so both these are going to be epics. First
Kindred
one
is as hell.
is
it's good.
4 energy, 4 might. The mind one.
Eli just had like a convulsion when he hears 4 energy, 4 might from Vex.
Yeah.
It gives me a little bit of anxiety, but we'll see.
This is Kindred Grim Fate. It has ambush.
Yep.
And when you play me, you may give a unit at a battlefield -1 might this turn. If it is marked, draw 1. I think this card's very, very strong.
Yeah.
It doesn't say this turn.
I know, but we're going to put it there. It's Riot formatting where they forget to put it there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, even without it being this, or with it being not 1 turn, it's crazy. With it being 1 turn, it's also crazy. I think
it's, pretty insane.
Yeah. This card is a very, very strong chosen champion. Ambush is super scary in the chosen champion zone. Yep. When you play me, the thing is always going to be marked because Kindred's legend ability does not cost any resources.
Correct.
To mark. So you're always going to have it marked, which means that you're always going to draw a card.
Yep.
Which is also insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this is just a great chosen champion. I think it's just really good.
It's a very strong card. It's like a Kaisa 2.0. It can't really accelerate, so I think it is fairly balanced in a way.
I also think it's balanced.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's like too oppressive. I think it's a very strong tool for the deck. I really enjoy it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Yep. Going on to the purple one. This is Kindred, the purple one. Final Breath. 5 energy, 1 power, 5 might. It uses the art for Kindred Chosen of the Wolf skin, which is her Noxian canonical form. And the text is, when you choose an enemy unit, give me +1 might this turn. If it is marked, give me +2 might this turn instead.
That card's unplayable.
Yeah, this card's really bad.
Yeah.
Because Diana's also unplayable. I mean, she's a little understated for her cost. But the big problem with cards like these is if we're going to have a card that we build our deck around, it needs to have deflect. I'm sorry, that's just how the game works. We cannot have a card that we try to base our entire deck around and it not have deflect. It's just not how the game works.
Yeah, I think that it's fine for this card to be bad though, because the other one is so good. Like you're totally fine to have a chosen champion that's not going to be played in the deck.
Probably be if I had to choose which one to be the rare, this would probably be the rare in my opinion.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I do think though, Chosen the Wolf Kindred is super sick. Obviously, this is a great alt art.
Yeah.
Awesome alt art. Teddy and the viewers at home who might not know, Kindred and Lamb.
I've been relegated to.
I'm sorry. Kindred is both lamb and wolf, and essentially the lore is that they're kind of like a Grim Reaper-y type figure, where you're gonna see them before you, like in your final moments before you die, and wolf consumes you essentially, right? So this is a really cool alt art for Kindred. I thought that this skin line was sick in League. I think it looks sick on a Riftbound card. I would love for this to be how Kindred looked in the game. But I don't think that this card specifically is playable, unfortunately. While I love the thematics behind it.
Yep. Moving. Did you have any thoughts, Teddy, before we move on?
No. Yeah, bad card. As much as I hate to say, it's just like I feel like it's. My mind immediately went to like limited, and like maybe it's good there when you need like a little bit of might distribution, but other than that, like I don't see this piece. This wouldn't see play in standard.
I will say it's slightly better than I thought it was because it's triggering off of the legend.
Yes,
it's true.
So this is basically a 7 might unit attacking on your turn.
I think it's still bad.
I'm trying to look at the positives. Okay,
unfortunately,
Gale being positive. What?
Paying the power for it is just too high of a cost to play this card. I think, unfortunately, you really need your so take for example from this upcoming set Unleashed, a card like Hui, right? You really need your 5 energy 1 power cards, because that seems to be a stat line that Riot really likes giving some more of the mid-range cards. You really need them to be very impactful on the game with what they're doing. Hui not only gets bigger than this card if you discard a unit, it draws you a card and has the option to do 2 other effects. So just putting them side by side, you can't. This card would not be playable, right? So I think you really, for that stat line to be impactful, like Vex or like Hui, it really needs to have a pretty solid effect.
Yeah.
And on to the signature spell. This is a 2 energy, 1 power, Lamb's Respite. Reaction can only be played during showdowns. Choose a battlefield. If units there would die during the showdown, heal them and recall them instead. I'm adding the recall them instead because the card doesn't make sense without that.
Yeah.
So heal them and recall them instead. This is basically a full battlefield Zonias. And it's symmetrical.
Wait, Gil. It does make sense.
Do you think it makes sense without recalling them?
I think it does. I think this is supposed to be a heal them. And then if they would bounce off because they don't have enough might, they would bounce, or they would kill the opposing unit. Because, like, think about it. Think about Kindred's ult in League. Right?
You might be selling me. I might
think about Kindred's ult in League, where you're in the middle of a team fight, and your team is getting low, and the enemy team is like pushing in. You've like quartered. Them. And then Lamb's Respite comes down, and then you wipe the enemy team because they can't do damage, and you kill them outside of the.
I get how it works in League. We're just trying to figure out why this makes sense in Rift.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
They walk in.
Yeah, they walk in.
Play this. Everyone's healed, but the attackers are still recalled. Sure. That's what you think the use case is? Okay, correct. I can live with that.
Yeah. At least that's my interpretation of it. It might be incorrect, and it might be like heal and recall them.
That's where my mind went to. Is heal and recall them.
I would assume it's heal and recall just because that's what we've seen the most.
Yeah, true.
But I do think that is a valid reason for it to not recall them, is just to make this defense play.
Right.
So let's do it based on what it actually says instead of what I'm artificially putting in, and let's assume it just heals them.
Yeah. In which case, I think it's a good card.
Yeah.
I do think it's a good card. So the issue is that
it's super specific.
It's super specific. I don't think this needs the line of text that it can only be played during showdowns. I think that that's a little bit too restrictive on the card for a signature spell. This is like a Zonia's Hourglass that costs an additional energy. A lot of the time, a lot of the time, you're going to be doing it on like 1 unit, potentially, maybe 2 units. In which case, let's compare it to a card like Tactical Retreat that came out of this set, right? Where you're recalling your stuff. You could do that to multiple units. You could do this to multiple units, but Tactical Retreat doesn't have this restriction. I don't really think this card needs this restriction. I think it would just be a fine signature spell as written, just removing that restriction.
And even if we could just and that would make more sense to not recall it if we could blank like control effects too. Like they uncheck power, you Lamb's Respite, you get to stay there.
Exactly. That was my thought. Exactly.
And I think that makes a lot of sense too without the showdown thing.
Yeah.
I think this card is interesting. I think there's just too many design parts here that make it feel more awkward than it needs to. I like it when my signatures feel impactful and versatile, and I can play multiple copies of them and feel good about it.
Definitely.
And I don't know if this one is doing that for me, because there's a lot of decks with this sort of archetype that I can imagine we're not actually playing a lot of units. Like, I can imagine we could be playing a full control shell here, and we don't actually care about our units, so then this card is just not useful because it's not helping the archetype that the rest of the deck has created, which is control. I almost think that Kindred, the actual legend that we talked about, should have the line of text where instead of when you kill something with anything, it's when you kill something by combat or with a unit, like when you interact that way, because then that is thematic with Lamb's Respite, right? And that would bring it into that more unit focused direction. Or if we take out the play only showdowns and we can play this in base, I think that's good. I think that sounds cool too. Can only be played during showdowns, cut, and then if units would die anywhere, heal them instead. Yeah. I like that. I like that. It would have to be like the next time they would die during this turn. Yeah. That would make sense.
This showdown part, like again, one of you mentioned it. I think that's the part that gets me here is like during this showdown, like I think it just has to apply like for an entire turn or just for the next time. It's not just like it shouldn't be something that like during it should. I don't think it should be something that should be played during showdowns. Just in my opinion.
I like it being played as a reaction a lot.
I do too. I do too.
Yeah. So because like in reaction to your Void Seeker, I cast Liam's Respite is cool, right? Like that's super sick. So I think that next time that something would die is actually more restrictive because then in the chain, they can like layer the chain, right? And then after Lamb's Respite has resolved, they can then put something else to kill something else on the stack and kill something. Lamb's Respite resolved, and then their original target will die. Still. You know what I mean? So like Lamb's Respite, so they Void Seeker, we Lamb's Respite. They let Lamb's Respite resolve, and then they put something else on the stack that kills something. Sure, this is also requiring reaction damage spells. It is, which we don't currently have. But like we do. We just don't see them very much. Yeah, we're living in a custom card world, right? Yeah, so, sure. Anything possible. Living in this custom card world. I don't like the next time this happens this turn. I would actually prefer something like within this showdown or within this chain or something like that would let it like impact everything. Because again, no, they're not going to say chain. They're not going to say chain on a card, but something that there has to be some way to do that. Because again, Kindred's ult in League is like, it doesn't just save you, it saves everyone on your team that's inside of the zone. Everyone. Yeah. Which this does thematically do, but it's a bit too limited for me for sure. Yeah. So that was the Kindred custom card by Kinu Hada. Thank you very much. Very fun card. Yeah, very cool card. We enjoyed looking at it quite a bit. And that will go into our final section.
Decks. We're just going to talk about real quick what we're playing. The next set, what we're thinking about, I know, Eli, you've kind of been stuck on what to play. I know I'm running Victor, Diana, but I kind of just want to open the floor to you guys. What do you guys, if we're taking Aurora out of the context of the realm and we're just thinking, okay, what's fun? What do we think like could be a fun league deck or a fun Nexus Knight deck? What are you guys thinking about playing as the start for the start of the set?
You want fun? Do you want fun Gale or kill you Gale? Which one?
Let's get both. I want both.
Both?
Oh, one option for both, because I'll do the same thing.
Okay,
I would
okay.
not play a lot of the decks competitively that I actually want to play in the set.
My fun deck is Poro Church LeBlanc. I love Poro Church LeBlanc so very much. We play like Victor Leader. We have the Ultra Soft Poro, the star of the deck, our Lord Fatness himself. And we just copy the Poro with the blue LeBlanc. We make so many birds, and the birds go in. We have the Victor in back, so we turn the birds into guys. Oh, it's so sick. It's like a body horror in a deck. Yeah. It's so cool. I feel when I play this deck, I feel like I'm playing Conway's Game of Life, and I'm just creating self-replicating engines on the Riftbound battlefield. It's so cool. I think that there's really unexplored ways to make it a lot better too. But I love that deck so much. I think that's what I'm having. I think that's what my wife wants to play, though. I think she might just end up being on Lilia with me as well.
Yeah, I want to play Carrion Dredger in that deck.
Yeah, I have Carrion Dredger. Yeah.
Okay, good. I was like, yeah, Carrion Dredger sounds super sick.
Yeah, because he's a guy. I get a token for the guy, and then he makes a bird, and I get a token for the bird. Yep. So like I've made 4 guys out of one guy.
And if you copied the Carrion Dredger too with LeBlanc, then you're making 8.
There's a lot of guys.
It's a lot of guys. It's just crazy. What about your competitive deck?
I'm playing Lilia. I've been very focused on Lilia. I've put a lot of work into making Lilia as good as I can make her, and I'm going to continue to work on her more and more. The deck gets better and better every day. She's what I will be taking to Vancouver. I'm just going to fully commit to her. No being a floozy. I was a little flimsy with Irelia last set, and I think that hurt me. We're going to be full on Irelia the entire time, just going to...
Full on Irelia?
I'm going to be a one-pick pony.
Wow. That was a good one. Yeah.
Thank you.
I could feel everyone cringing.
That's okay. That's okay.
From here. That was crazy.
And that's what we're going to do. I love her. I love the sprites. I think they add a very interesting strategic depth that we don't really see in a lot of other decks. So I've been playing her a ton.
I also like Lilia, and we'll be playing a lot of Lilia as well. But I don't know if I'm going to play Lilia as my competitive deck, to be honest. I think Lilia might be my for fun deck. Because I can foresee our local scene being so stock full of Vexes that it's going to actually hurt my soul. I already can see it.
I'm okay with Vex.
Yeah.
I think Vex is totally playable.
The Vex deck or the Vex unit?
Both.
My
struggle decks.
Well, see, but you're playing bad cards to beat Vex.
No, right? I'm playing good cards to beat Vex.
But we're playing on guard in our deck, so I don't know how good.
That's a good card, Eli. Get with the time.
All right. Joking aside, I really like Gale's deck a lot. We've kind of like seen it get workshopped the entire time because originally he asked me for a core, and I gave him a core, and I think that kickstarted an endless cycle of deck building and refinement, which is fun. That's very fun. But I think that Lilia is probably going to be my for fun deck, and I think that legitimately, I think that Ezreal or Diana will be my competitive deck. I think both of them have a lot of legs. Specifically, Hui opens up a lot for those decks because before I had no counterplay into Rune Runner at all, and Hui opens counterplay into Rune Runner, so that's really nice for the deck. You just before it was like Rune Runner, Trinity Force against Ian, it's like, okay, well, the game's kind of over sometimes if you can't don't have the board presence to come back from that. But with Hui, that changes actually quite a bit, which is really nice. So yeah. I'm probably going to be playing one of those two decks. Not sure which I'm going to settle on yet. They're both pretty similar with some slight differences. Gorica, shout out Gorica, and I were workshopping a bit on an Ezreal list. I think we got it into a pretty workable state, so I'm excited to try that out. Teddy, you said you were playing a couple of decks. Victor specifically, where are you taking Victor next set? Because you're the only one of us that said a set 1 legend that you're still sticking with. So
I think Victor, as long as Aurora is prevalent, and it kind of depends on the local scene, I think I'm going to take it as more of an aggro E deck with having a lot of like options in the side for bigger stuff like Singularity and Watcher. I still think Watcher, great card. Whatever you say, Eli. Watcher's a good card.
I think whoa. I think Watcher is much better positioned this set than it has been in the last 2 sets. Personally.
But Victor will definitely be my competitive deck. I think I just have the most reps on it. It's what I'm consistent with. So I think beyond that though, I'm going to be looking at Diana. I think that is where I want to go. I'm still up in the air because I know I was doing Hartford. I'm not playing like in the main event, and I don't want to make any like big decisions until I see what happens in Vancouver. And then I'll spend like whatever that little less than a month is to fully test and figure out what I'll probably be bringing to that Super Saturday event, because like Gorka, speaking of Gorka, he posted something the other day, just a friendly reminder that EV is so much like, if you do well in that event, that EV is insane. Especially he said that people are splitting the top 8 tickets, and that's about 5 metal plated legends a piece, which go for about $2,000. So give or take somewhere around there, depending on what you get, give or take, it's a good chunk of change. So I think Diana is what I'm going to be looking forward to playing as like another deck, obviously competitively viable, but also one I'm not going to put as much effort in until I really see what happens in Vancouver. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is Victor's going to be what I play. I'm playing in the 5K constructed event that's at PopCon on Sunday. I'm taking Victor, and then I basically just going to see what happens from there on out. I graduate tomorrow, so and start work on Monday, so I have a lot of big life changes happening as well. So I won't like, that's why I'm just kind of waiting until Vancouver is like, let that happen. Let me get started in the real world, and then I'll make my decisions for Hartford once everything's kind of settled down.
Definitely. Well, hey, everyone in the audience, let us know what deck you are planning on playing. A couple of decks that you want to play in Unleashed format. Should be a lot of fun. All of us are very excited to get started in paper play, I'm sure. Me and Teddy played our first game of Unleashed yesterday in paper. A lot of fun. He waxed me. It was a great time. Very, very good. But yeah, good luck to you two in the event this weekend at PopCon. You're both playing in different events, but it should be a blast to see who can do well. I unfortunately work, so I'm not able to play in either of the events, but that is okay.
Sunday's Mother's Day.
Sunday is also Mother's Day, and
I have priority. I have familial priority.
See, the funny thing is, like, my parents are in time for graduation, and I'm like, okay, I can't play. I have I'm going to be doing Mother's Day, probably a lunch or something after church. And then my mom texted me the other day and goes, oh yeah, we're leaving at like 8 a.m. on Sunday because your sister has to move out of her college. I'm like, oh, cool. I have a free day. Let's go play.
Nice. Definitely works out. But yeah, hey, thank you guys for joining us on this first episode of Unleashed. Kind of first episode. It's like a 0.5 episode because next week is going to be when Unleashed actually drops for all of us. We're recording.
When you guys are listening, Unleashed will be officially out, though.
Yeah, it will be officially out, but this is our 0.5 episode for us. So next week is going to be our very first Unleashed episode. We got a lot planned for you guys. Stick around. We're very excited to bring it to you. But for now, my name is Vattel Tessin. I'm joined by Gail and Teddy, and we will see you all on the next episode.